record. All right. So, as I said, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that you're giving your time, the most valuable thing in our lives, to be here with me. You could be anywhere, but you decided to be here. And I'm very appreciative of that. So, today we're going to talk about emotional literacy. And this topic is something that I've been working on for quite some time. And the other day when we were discussing something in the group and it came up, and then he said, like, maybe it's the last time I did a workshop on this was in 2022, 2023, something like that. So it's been a while. So I said, let's, put it together again and let's have a discussion on it. Because I think emotional literacy is something which is very important, but not really much discussed or talked about as it should be. There's a lot more talk on emotional intelligence, self-awareness, but not much on emotional literacy. So, what's emotional literacy to you all? No looking it up. Just say what you have in mind.
Can I go?
Yeah, please, Paul.
My favorite thing is when people use the word angry, which can
Angry.
describe so many versions of that emotion. So I always say I get irritated when people call me angry when I'm just annoyed, because how you describe what you're feeling also immediately creates a feeling, an emotion inside. So you may not have been angry, and I use the word angry. Now you get angry because you're linking it. So yeah, so
Thank you.
that's my little feedback on that.
Thank you, Paul. And that makes sense. I'll go on that later on. Why it is like that and how much it affects us. Anybody else?
Sanjay, you're on mute.
Yeah, I was on mute. My apologies. My take is, anything external which causes internal upheaval is shown in terms of emotions. It can be external, it can be person, it can be environment, it can be your boss. I would say anything external environment which impacts your internal peace, or it can cause emotional distress or happiness. Probably, that is my little understanding of it.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. Thank you for sharing. Tracy, you wanted to say something? You turn on your mic.
Yes, I think for me, emotional literacy is about actually recognizing what your emotions are and being able to communicate them to other people and just to be emotionally aware, really.
All right. Thank you, Tracy. Okay. So let me start my presentation. If you guys can see. Share. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
So emotional literacy. So understanding, naming, and working wisely on our emotions. So even though it says literacy, and by literacy, read and write, but there's still a bit more to it. And like whatever all of you said, it is true. All that is part of emotional literacy, So today, I do not want to go into broader look of it on how it affects mental health or stress management and all that. I want to just purely talk about emotional literacy. So looking at it as a skill and a language that underlines everything that we feel, everything that moves us, our behaviors, our thinking, our reactions, our actions. So we'll be very much purely looking into it in that manner. So I'm basically borrowing this from the person who started this is called Claude Steiner, and a few more, but he was one who popularized it. So it's the ability to understand your emotions, naming it, but also empathize with others and express emotions in a way that improves your own power and quality of relationships around you. So it goes a bit more broader than just, we are so much looking into just our own self, how I feel, what I say, and how it makes me feel. But it goes beyond just that. It's, the meaning of communication is based on the reaction that you get from the other person. So how you say things and how you communicate is very important, and you only know what was understood from what you communicated based on how the other person reacts to you. We can say it's their problem, but here we're taking a bit more responsibility ourselves. So think of it as the language of feelings, just as literacy lets us read and write words. Emotional literacy lets us read and write our inner states so we can respond with clarity rather than confusion or reactivity. So basically today we'll be working to become more fluent in that language, noticing, naming, and working wisely with emotions in ourselves and others. I keep on suddenly going down and half of my face disappears. I have to move this a bit. Okay, so anything? I want this to be interactive, so I'll stop and you can chip in. I don't want to be one-sided. It's going to get very boring if I just talk I can talk a lot for 2 hours, no problem, but I don't think it will be very interesting. Paul, what do you think? What do you think after what you heard from me? Does that make sense?
Yes. You always make sense, Moeb. So
you're too kind, Paul. You're too kind.
Thank you. I try to be just the right amount of kind. But I agree with you. I think understanding it's not only important to understand your own emotions, but also how they impact on others, and your words impact on them. But I think it does start with understanding yourself and your own response, because if you don't understand yourself and your own response to others in the world, then how can you glean to understand anybody else, or how you might impact on them? But I thought there's this word kindness, which I struggle with sometimes, because I think it's abused for the wrong reasons. But I think it's important in wanting to understand other people. And I think these days it's very important that we take the time to understand.
Wonderful. Thank
Sorry,
you.
I just need to cover my screen.
Okay, so we move forward a bit more. So the language of feelings, the capacity to notice, name, and understand our emotions, a gateway to deeper self-awareness and deliberate choice. So emotional literacy and emotional intelligence. So emotional literacy is the foundation of emotional intelligence. I'll be showing further with a bit more clarity on this. This is just a little bit I want to share with you. Oh, before I forgot something. So check in with everybody just right now, based on what we have discussed. If you can just pick one word and write it somewhere or keep it with you on how you're feeling right now, what would that be? Just one word. Just keep it with you, and then we can look at it at the end of the end of the session. Just any one word. Okay, everybody, just pick one word for how you're feeling right now and write it down. No cheating. Somebody's in the chat. I want 2 words. No, you can't. 1 word only. Paul, don't be naughty. Okay. So, as the basic level, emotional literacy is the ability to identify and label feelings in ourselves and others. Okay? And we are taking this a step further. So noticing, naming, actually understanding what those feelings are signaling. Okay? The language metaphor is very important. So if I only have 3 words, good, bad, stressed, my inner world is very blurry. When I have more precise words, like Paul said, irritated, ashamed, lonely, touched, happy, absolutely. I can see finer details and respond with more intelligence. So,
calmness,
calmness, absolutely. Absolutely. See, that's why people who are highly anxious or highly in a sad state or so-called depressed state, if you ask them how are you feeling, they most probably either will have 1 to 3 words, or they will not have anything. They'll say, I don't know, I'm just like that. because they are in that state for so long that the brain has blocked them from even naming the emotions, because naming emotions mean it brings pain and suffering, and our brain functions at 100% capacity at all time, and it's there to protect us. And if you are associating your emotions to pain and suffering, eventually your brain will stop you from even naming those emotions. So your vocabulary, your use of word in describing how you feel will become minimum, and it will become to nothing. And then you're just in that nothingness. Well, how are you feeling? I don't know. Why are you sad or depressed? I don't know. You will constantly hear this if you're working with clients in that level, the same thing when they say this. And this is, your brain is totally blocking everything.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please, Mr. Sanjay.
Kanav spoke about happiness, calmness. Can I ask you, the first thought which came to my mind and which I wrote was the word introspection. Is that an emotion? After understanding from you what emotional literacy is, I was introspecting at that point of time, what is that emotion which came? So probably I'm not clear. I neither said I'm feeling happy, sad, depressed, anxious. The moment you asked that, my reply was introspection. I was introspecting inside, what is it?
Okay. So right now, you keep that with you. There is no judgment of how you're feeling or what word comes to you. We will look into why everybody has different words for it. If yours is introspection, then stay with it. Okay, let's see where it takes you as we continue.
Okay.
Because what matters is what it means to you and how it makes you feel. Okay?
Sure.
Okay. So, other words in emotional literacy is a doorway into self-awareness through emotional intelligence. I'll share more. Once you can name what's going on, you can go into the interpretation that's driving it, and then you can see what you're protecting, what matters to you, or what matters here, and then you will have you'll be open for choices, because once you have more words to describe how you're feeling, you can look into, okay, what is this coming from? Why am I interpreting it like this? And why am I saying this? So like Mr. Sanjay said, the word came to him is introspection. So he can step back and see, why did I say that? What is this interpreting within me? Am I protecting something? Why does it matter? And can I use other words to describe the same thing that I'm calling introspection? Okay. So you can also, yes, Mr. Sanjay.
No, nothing. I was listening to you with rapt attention.
Okay. So if you sit down, right, someone said stressed in the chat, right? And if you sit with that word and then silently upgrade it to a more precise label, have an internal brief discussion, and see what changed when you named it differently. Okay? So whoever had that one word, like Mr. Sanjay, see if you can upgrade that and add a few more words, maybe 2 more or 3 more words, which can be more precise into describing how you're feeling. So as I said, emotional literacy is the foundation of emotional intelligence. It supports self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, and social skills. You cannot regulate or empathize with emotions you cannot name. Like Paul said in the beginning, if you are irritated and you call that irritation anger, you are simply taking your ability to feel anything else but anger. Then your body will react, you go after it because that anger is there.
Sorry, Mohib, can I say something?
Yes, please, absolutely.
Because I'm just thinking as you're talking, because it's such a fascinating subject. It's funny when the nuances of of different words, what our bodies do is they respond to those words. So, like the word stress, you feel immediately when you think stress, you think anxiety. Well, I do, and then you feel a different feeling in your body. Whereas if you can change the word in the moment, you can have a different physiological response in your system. And that also has a physical impact on your wellness, your physical wellness, and your mental wellness. Because if you use only, I'm just going to say strong words to describe emotions, then you will only have strong physiological effects. But that can also, happy, strong word, or joyous or so on, very good. But then if you stick to the sort of strong negative words that give you negative physiological response, I think they do eat away at you.
I
And your
completely
system.
agree with Paul, as he is saying that there are positive and negative both manifestations that we can do with the words we say.
Okay, so I'm gonna say something here, might not be very popular. I don't see emotions as negative or positive. Emotions are emotions. Emotions are actually our friend. Emotions are here to protect us because the sensations we give them, they think we are under attack. So emotions come because they don't have eyes. You feel based on what you think, based on what you get triggered. So when we are not aware of that, and we are naming things and we are saying things, we simply yes, Paul, I'm trying to convince you. So our emotions are our friends. They're here to protect us. And based on what we feed it, how the sensations we give it, that, for example, you're watching a scary movie, or somebody comes, just startles you, and at that moment you interpret that as an attack, and you go into, you scream, or some kind of reaction you give. And then the moment you see that that's your friend, and he starts laughing, and then you start laughing, and then the whole thing 360 all changes at that, in seconds. So what we feed is, I always say that our thoughts come before our emotions. But it happens so fast that we feel it before we realize what we were thinking. And emotional literacy is, later we'll talk about how cognitively it works, is that ability to create that gap between your reaction, your interpretation of things, and your reaction. Once you bring that gap, you can see things more clearly, like, no, it's not like that, it's like this. Or why am I feeling like this? Where is this coming from? Because why we do what we do is all based on our observations and experiences in life from a very young age. And it builds. We see things, we learn things, we observe things, we experience things, and we give them a meaning because we are meaning-making machines. And then we are cognitively biased. So we are constantly looking to confirm on the things that we believe in. So the meaning turns into beliefs. Then we confirm those beliefs because we are cognitively biased. And then we continue doing it. So it becomes a behavior. Behavior becomes habits. And habits become identity. Then we say, I'm born angry. Okay, I might be going off topic a bit, but that's how things work. That's how we grow, but we don't question our beliefs. We don't question our thinking. We at certain stage, we stop educating ourselves, especially on emotions. We become very literate. We know a lot, but internal monologues are not questions. The stories we have built in our own minds, the words we use, the words we hear, we totally ignore them. And that's why I wrote the book, The Transformative Power of Words, How Language Changes Who We Are. So I continue with the presentation, but this presentation doesn't mean so much as this discussion is. So that's my workshops are all more discussion. We talk both sides, so we understand the gist of whole thing and take something home that we can practically work on. Otherwise, I can sit here and talk. I used to be a radio, jockey, so I could just sit behind the radio and talk for 2 hours, 4 hours at times. Yes, Paul.
No, I was just, if you want to do that, can't you remove the presentation for a second if you want to get the room to involve? Because otherwise,
I wanted to move further with this, and then I'll stop.
Okay, cool. Do that then.
Okay. So discuss this: support self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, social skills. You cannot regulate or empathize with emotions you cannot name. Okay, the neuroscience of emotional literacy. So when we name feelings, we are actually building a bridge between the cognitive areas of our brain and the felt experience. When we name our emotions, we reduce the intensity of our reactivity. When we name our emotions, we start making sense of what is actually happening around us. And when we get upset, amygdala in our brain arouses, it expands. And by naming emotions, the arousal goes down as the cortical activity, which is language activity, goes up. And that the calmness comes down. And it's right here, right in front of your head. The amygdala is right in here. So when we get into that space, it goes up. You know, you can hear your head going like that when you're in that high intensity emotion. And then once things changes, you can feel the calmness, and that is your amygdala going down into its normal size as the language activity, cortical activity increases in your brain. That's why breathing, taking a step back, all that is actually, they really work because it brings that gap between how you interpret an event and how you're reacting to it. So once you have a dialogue in your head, the cortical activity increases and the arousal of amygdala reduces. Understood? Clear? Anything else? Who said something? Thank you, Ankush. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye, sir.
Thank you. Okay, so I'll stop the share. How to unshare? Where is it? You can still see my screen?
Yes, we can still see
Stop
your.
share. There you go. Okay. So everybody is here. Gallery. Okay, now I can see everybody. Anybody else would like to add something, say something, or any questions? No, nothing. Okay.
I still want to understand.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
Maitri, sorry, there you go. Can't hear you.
Paul, go ahead. I will come
No,
after
you
you.
you go first. Ladies first.
Okay.
Beauty before age.
Okay. So, Coach, I'd like to ask you a serious question. Like, you said that if I try to feel my emotion and to name it, now, if I name it wrong, how to know that I'm naming it correctly?
So that's exactly where we question ourselves on why I'm naming something like that, right?
No, sometimes we just name it and just we follow, and
Correct.
our actions will follow, right?
Correct.
We just don't understand that whether we are putting it in a right way or not, right? So how to know that
this is
it's the right choice?
so
As Paul was saying, that irritation and anger.
no. So
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. How do we know what I'm feeling is actually the right one,
Yeah.
right? So the exercise we did just now, you say I'm feeling like this,
Hmm.
right? And what kind of reaction it's bringing? You're not liking your reaction to that emotion, right? That's what you're saying?
No, I like because I'm not very aware of it. I just feel that I'm upset
Okay. So
because I am not very emotionally intelligent, or maybe I haven't heard about this term, right? But in regular ways, except from coaches, where I'm not very okay with the emotional terminology, or maybe I'm putting it right. I'm very upset, or maybe I'm not upset, I'm just getting irritated, right? So I don't know the name, exact name. So maybe I will be focusing on the upset term, right? Because I don't know the irritating part.
Okay.
It's not matching, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So there are two things.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. You'll never question what you don't know. So if you're saying that you don't know something And how can you know something that you don't know? You have to be not okay with what you know. If you are okay with what you know, you'll never question it.
But that's where the emotional literacy comes in. I mean, I think
Right.
it's
So
important to have
the
curiosity.
basic of anything starts with you not being okay with it. Right? So that's why the main thing we learn is the desire to change. Well, the change happens when the desire to change overtakes the desire to remain the same.
Same.
So if you're okay with how you are, then you will never take the steps to change. Right? So if I'm naming something angry and I'm just okay with that, then I'm okay with that. We can't force change. Even with ourselves, we cannot force change. And for that, that's why we need to look at, you become emotional aware, emotional literacy, emotionally intelligent, but you also need to look at the story, your monologues that you carry with you. People can be very happy in a familiar hell, then stepping into an unfamiliar heaven. Right? So you don't know what you don't know till you know. And the more you know, the more you realize that you don't know.
Beautiful.
There is a
Thank you so
world of
much.
knowledge out there that regardless of how much we know, we will still not know. So that happens within ourselves also.
Yeah.
As coaches, as people working with everybody else, you can get to a place, and then if you say, I know everything, that's the end of you. Knowledge needs to liberate us from saying that I know everything. Because we don't.
Thank
We
you
will
so much.
never. Okay.
Thank you, Coach.
Question. Tracy, you want to say something, please?
Well, no, I was just quite thoughtful in as much as there are times in myself when I may, for instance, be feeling upset. And I think to myself, well, why are you upset? And I can't even tell you. I sometimes get feelings of things for no apparent reason, and I can't even know what's at the source of them, really. It's very peculiar. Sometimes I'm blissfully happy and I think, well, what's so different about today that I'm blissfully happy? And I couldn't even tell you.
Okay.
So,
look, and that's okay. And that's okay. One other thing that I work with a lot of ladies who are in their 40s and above, couples, premenopause and menopause is real. The effect of hormones is real. It can make you do things you will be surprised, what am I doing? Okay?
not in my case.
No, I'm generally putting
I'm way
it
too old to worry about that.
generally putting it out there because there's a number of but I think men needs to understand this also because they have partners who go through this and they become very reactive or very surprised, like, why you are happy just now and you're not happy, what's happening? There is something called premenopause and menopause, which is just hormone madness. So
Men have mood swings as well.
Absolutely. So it is really good if we can be more kinder to ourselves and kinder to our partners and our friends in that stage of life. Okay, let me continue. Share. So the neuroscience, we talked about this. Next. So name it to tame it. We kind of discussed it. So a simple practice, again, pause, notice sensation in your body. Step 2, put a clear word on the emotion. Breathe, allow the feeling, and choose your next response. Okay. Okay. So Socrates said the unexamined life is not worth living. So it's really important that we sit with ourselves from time to time and look and examine our lives. Growing in self-awareness allows us to examine ourselves thoroughly, unlimitedly, and self-correct where or when necessary. So don't be afraid to dig deep. Self-awareness is our capacity to stand apart from ourselves and examine our thinking, our motives, our history, our script, and our habits and tendencies. And all this is only possible through emotional literacy. So the examine life, okay, this is pretty much the same thing. So here is the things that emotional literacy allows us to do. Ability to describe what you're feeling, the ability to know what triggered your emotion, the ability to empathize with others, the ability to repair emotions, emotional problems, and being aware of triggers unique to you. And then there is emotional intelligence. It makes you self-aware. But this can only happen if you're emotionally literate. It can motivate you, bring more empathy in you. Your social skills improves because your self-communication improves, and then your external communication improves as well. And then you become your self-regulation goes higher than where you are at the moment. So emotional literacy is the first step towards emotional intelligence. Emotional literacy is the attempt to take responsibility to understand our personal emotions. Emotions look like one thing on the surface and another thing at the depth. Okay? Why is that? Because there are two layers. Okay? It's so hot today. So we have primary emotions and we have secondary emotions. And we all go with the primary emotions. Something came and we jumped at it. The moment we step back and we start naming, you will get to the secondary emotions, which is the cause of the sensations you have given, the name you have given, the interpretation of the event that you have. And then you can step back and see the story behind that you're telling yourself, or where it came from, where did you observe it, where did you learn it, where did you experience it. So what seems at first glance to be anger may turn out to hide a more subtle feeling, such as disappointment, irritation, annoyance, annoyance with self, disappointment with self. It's not always external. There's a lot of time we are just not happy with ourselves, but it comes out on other people. 95% of our emotions are determined by how we interpret an event. So Tracy, that 5% is for you.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I said 95% of our emotions are determined by how we interpret an event.
Yes.
The
Yes.
5% is for
Sure.
you.
Yeah.
You said that you don't know where it's coming from, right? So that falls in that 5% that we just don't know and things happen. Okay. So that's very interesting. So difference between emotions and feelings. Did you know that emotions are nouns and feelings are verbs? Then emotions, you have physical signals that our body are constantly giving us. So you'll feel it. Angry, you'll feel your blood boiling. Is true. You will feel all that sensations in your body. Feelings are next thing that happens after accumulation of emotions over time. In other words, unattended emotions become feelings. That's why we say we are keeping grudges. So you feel things and then you don't do anything about it, and then it just stays, and then becomes something, a feeling down there that pops up from time to time. Can be measured by blood flow, brain activity, facial expressions, and body language. Usually, for feelings, it's subconscious, cannot be measured precisely. So that can be your secondary emotions that has built over time. Emotions has short time frame, feelings can last for longer period of time. So you can deal with an emotion, you can sit with yourself, you can rename it, you can get to the bottom of it and be done with it. The problem is never feeling things. The problem is how it affects you, how it affects your daily life, and how long do you sit with it? How long it stays with you? Okay, I'm closing the share. Let's talk. I saw some new people came in. Welcome, everybody. So anything, any questions, any thoughts, anything? Soham, I'm going to pick on you.
No, I'm going to go back to what Tracy was saying earlier. And many times certain things do happen. And as you say, Mahib, earlier, what you were saying about menopause, maybe I may not be going through menopause, but the feeling of, I would say, menopause where I do feel irritated and may become short-tempered sometimes. Even though I admit it, I don't want to lie about it because I do get short-tempered, and I live with my husband, so he's the only nearest person that I become short-tempered with, nobody else. But he knows, he does something, often he does say to me, he says, "Are you seeing how you're reacting?" And that makes me stop and actually reflect on my reaction. And I don't see, when he says that to me, don't get me wrong, I don't like it, but I do accept what he's saying to me because I can see my reaction, and And I don't argue back at him. I look at my reaction, and it allows me to step back and actually look at my reaction and correct it, you know. And earlier when Tracy said, you know, sometimes you may feel irritated and upset, and I know Tracy lives on her own. So, you know, but not just that, if you live on your own or with a family, you know, I am a great believer that sometimes my way of behaving, it may not relate to me as personally as me, but I am picking up energy, as many of you know, that I work with energy, and that you know, and I feel some of the feelings, thoughts, things that's coming through my head are not mine, because that's not how I sometimes think about things. You know what I mean? So and don't get me wrong, even though I question this, does this belong to me at that moment in time? I don't actually even remember that. Does this belong to me? It's only when it has passed through that I question. I said, oh, did that belong to me? But I didn't. So because I didn't give that much attention and paid too much energy to that thought, what happened? It came and it went. You know, it didn't become bigger thing because I didn't, you know, give that much attention to that feeling and that, you know, thought, basically. I don't know. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about.
Well, thank you, Soham. I think it at least gives Tracy another perspective to look at it. And, you know, but sometimes if it's not affecting your life.
Energies from other people is a very real thing. I live in an apartment, and the lady in the apartment below me suffered from quite bad mental health problems. She's recently moved in the last 6 months, and the whole energy of the building has changed. So it is a real thing, absolutely.
And then there's also things that we carry subconsciously, unconsciously, which are generational.
Yes, 100%, I agree.
From our parents, from our great parents, great parents, we carry things that we don't even know it is there.
Yes, 100%.
And then we say, where is this coming from?
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, I so believe that we are really not kind enough to ourselves. Not even talk about other people. We are really not that kind to ourselves. We judge ourselves so much. We are like, why can't we just be? You know, why we have to always be becoming? Why we always have to go somewhere? Why we have to change everything? Why can't we just sometimes be?
I'm being busy.
Yeah.
Can I just comment on what you just said and what Tracy said and Sam said? This made me think as well. You know, there's some days where you wake up. I think it's become very important for me to, like, I'll say to my husband, you know what, I'm in one of those moods today, so just be patient with me, or don't, because I can feel that I may be experiencing not my own emotions, or I'm picking up on something. I know there's going to come a point in the day, because there's a certain kind of emotion where I will get a message, or somebody will phone and write me, and I'll know that something's been going on. When they do, I realize something's been going on with a friend, and I've been picking up on that. So it creates a certain kind of sense in me, a feeling. That's why I said to Tracy, you know, there might be some psychic thing involved there, other people, etc. But I think it's also important for me to be able just to be reactive. I can be reactive around my, like Soham says, I can be like that. I'm not perfect, but I do apologize very quickly when I feel I was wrong. Otherwise, I don't. But anyway, I do feel it's important to say I'm feeling like this, especially when you're around people. Maybe just understand that today, because then it is on them then, I think, because to go, we get that, and let's just respect that. And I think it's important when other people say that to us, we're not at our best,
Yes.
maybe give me a bit of grace today. Then we
Yes.
go, yeah. I mean, if we can communicate like that with others, wouldn't it just be a better place for us all without taking things personally or making assumptions about things?
Absolutely, Paul. Absolutely, Paul. The other day I posted something on emotional depth, on how we carry things, that we owe people things, our parents, our friends, there's so much of that we carry, and it's how easy it is to advise others on what to do and how to do things, but we can't follow that for ourselves.
Yeah.
Constantly we are doing it. Somebody comes to me and we have all the answers in the world for them. Papa, papa, oh, do like this, do like that, do like that. And then we ourselves go into that situation. So all the emotions come, but we lose our mind. So,
but that's why I don't agree with you on the thing that emotions have no impact, because I wrote down here, okay, are you saying with emotional regulation or regulation of self that we don't feel the kind of emotions that has a physiological effect? Because emotions are what emotions are. I know that emotions are just words, they're nouns, but they create a feeling. And I think I'm quite emotionally literate and intelligent, but I'm also very highly strung at times. And that's why I practice so much mindfulness. So I check in with myself probably a lot more than I should or need to, because I'm constantly, okay, why am I feeling like this? How am I feeling? Can I just move forward as I am? Or should I just take a moment, take a deep breath, let it go? And if I know why I'm feeling like this, let it go. But I still feel like I feel the emotion. I feel the impact. I feel it on my pulse. I feel it on my breathing. And in some, so I do feel like they have a physiological impact.
So we are calling them negative or positive based on how it makes us feel.
But I do. Okay, it's your show. I'm not going to say anything more. I'm going to argue with you about it on another day.
Look, my thing is, I call them feelings. They make me feel a certain way. Now, how I react, how I feel those emotions, so I can call them negative or positive based on how I feel. For me, they're emotions. They're telling me what based on the sensations I give it to them. They're coming here to protect me. Now I sit with it and I talk to it like, what's happening? And then I tell it like, no, it's okay. I got this. I'm on the driving seat. I'll manage it. Don't worry. I'm not under attack. This is where the response states come in, right? We go into fight, flight, freeze, or fawn based on that sensations. But the moment we step back, so that with emotional literacy and emotional intelligence and self-regulation, it's not that we stop feeling things. It's just we don't stay in it for too long. We feel things, but then we welcome the feelings. We don't fight it back. The moment, for me, when I call something negative, I don't want it. Then I'm fighting an emotion which is coming here to protect me. I don't want you. I don't want to. So clients come to me and they say, I don't want to feel anxious. I can't help you. Something will make you anxious at some point of life. It's not that you don't feel things. You will feel things. You cannot not feel things. And that, I'm anxious is always a half sentence, because we are not anxious. We are always anxious about something, towards something. And as Paul said earlier, using heavy words to describe how you feel will only make you feel that big, because we are creating a mountain and then we go an imaginary mountain and then we go for a solution bigger than that mountain to manage it, which is not possible. So instead of saying every time you feel down, you say, I'm depressed, say, I'm sad. And then you say, what are you sad about? And then you go get, you will get to it. It's not a negative emotion for me. It's just the state I am and how I'm interpreting everything in that event in my life or in my surroundings. Sometimes ago, I was really sad. I was really down and I was crying and I needed help. And then I sat with someone and we talked and we looked into it, and I stayed sad for some time. And now I'm fine. And as I allow myself to explore it and understand it and see things, where is it coming from? How am I constantly interpreting things? The mountain became smaller and I'm okay now. So the same way everything else goes. Just because I'm more emotionally literate, emotionally intelligent, or self-aware, it doesn't mean I don't feel anything. You will always feel things. You cannot not feel anything. It's just how you manage it and how long you sit with it. Yeah. And by being emotionally literate, you can change it instantly if you can name it differently. Okay, back to the presentation. Share. I need to move fast, otherwise we can sit here and talk too much. Was it this one? Oh, this one is done. Okay, so we have 6 main emotions, which is joy and sad and surprised, anger, disgust, and what's the other one? Fear.
Yeah.
But then all this has a lot of other things in it. You're surprised, you're startled, you're confused, you're amazed, you're excited, you're shocked, you're astonished, you're eager. But we don't have all these words describing our surprise emotion. So anger, you're mad, you're jealous, you're embarrassed, you're furious, you're irritated, you're withdrawn, you're frustrated, you're skeptical. Or if you're disgusted about something, you feel disgusted. It can be, you feel awful, you feel disappointed towards others, towards yourself, hesitant, revolted, loathing, judgmental, fear, humiliated, rejected, worthless, insecure, anxious, scared. We just do not have the vocabulary to name our emotions. And we don't allow ourselves to get literate about it. We stop educating ourselves. What is next? Okay. So fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Right? So we are how our response states are set like that from how the first man behaved, living in danger like that. So when they fought, that's the response we carried. Flight, we ran away. Froze, we just froze. Fawning is something which is not talked about. Fawning is pretty much pleasing. You go into that state of constantly pleasing so much that your nervous system become conditioned into that. And then even you become self-aware and create this new identity, but your nervous system only feels calm when you're pleasing. And then you constantly have this fight. I had a client and I worked with her, and she became very self-aware, and then she went on, and then recently she came back like, I know everything, but I still continue doing the same things. So now we've started the work again on working on nervous system conditioning and safety. So fight, self-preservation at all costs, explosive temper, outburst, aggressive anger, angry behavior, controlling others, can't hear other points of view, a pronounced sense of entitlement, demands perfection, dictatorial tendencies. Flight, obsessive compulsive, panic and anxiety, rushing around, over worrying, can't stay still or relaxed, micromanaging situations and others, strives to be perfect, an overachiever. Freeze, spacing out, feeling unreal, hibernating, isolating self, might appear lazy, brain fog, indecisive, resists taking action, achievement phobic, wanting to hide from the world, feels dead, lifeless. Fawning, people-pleasing, scared to say what they really think, flattering others to avoid conflict, overcaring, can't stand up for themselves, can't say no, secretly feels like a victim, easily exploited by others, craves acceptance to fit in, yes man or yes woman. So, emotional literate person, an individual, can notice and name the emotions they're feeling and those they see in other people, understands the message an emotion is aiming to communicate. So you see the cause and effect, selects the emotions they are experiencing and choose what to communicate, accepts emotions as a normal part of life, and is at ease talking about and working with them, with the people they trust. Building emotional vocabulary, move beyond the broad labels like stressed and fine. I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. My clients are banned from answering me with I'm fine. So I'm fine is the such loaded answer. And so my question is fine, describe fine, what is fine? And then when we look at it, they're not fine. All right, so if you're fine, then why are you here in this session? So fine is not really fine. So you need to be more descriptive of how you're feeling. Chat. Can someone feel these all at the same point of life? All the emotions at the same time. Mr. Qureshi, can you open your mic?
Yes, please.
Oh, Miss Qureshi.
I'm Miss Qureshi.
Apologies. Can you elaborate on what you're trying to ask?
I meant to say that someone could feel disappointed, someone could feel overachiever. The emotions that you shared on the slide, can someone
Okay.
feel those at the same moment of the life?
Look,
Like
so some things will
someone
be
is like very
overlapping.
like someone wants to hide from the world, but wants to feel that I want to show something, but wants to hide also. There are many emotions going around. That means that person is indecisive. You mean to say that?
But not necessarily. You see that, but then you see person to person, you need to look at it into it more in depth. Like you're describing emotions and behavior at the same time. So behaviors can be
Okay.
overlapping. You can, some behaviors of your flight and freeze and fight, some of them can be, especially flight and freeze, can be similar. The behaviors can be similar because they're both hiding. They're both running away. That in that regard, even fawning, in a way, you're pleasing to ensure your safety.
I meant to say, sorry to interrupt you over
No,
here,
not at all, not at all.
but it's like caring. You are really caring. You're over caring, but at the same moment, you want to run and you want to just hide from the world. That's the same thing I meant to say, that you have the caring feeling for the world, the people around you, but at the same moment you want to hide yourself. I think so that's the conflict over here.
Yeah,
in the
absolutely
emotion
right. Because one is external, one is internal. You want to help everybody, but at the same time, you're not comfortable enough to face the world. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, but it's like sometimes like you want to change everything. You want everyone. You are a people pleaser. Sometimes it becomes like you are people pleaser, but at the moment you don't want people to please you.
Correct.
You don't want any.
You're talking about two. One behavior is external towards other people, but when it comes to yourself, you behave differently.
Yes, but you don't want to be taken care. You don't want to be
Correct.
heard. You don't want
Correct.
to be heard, but you
Correct.
want to hear people. You want to listen to the people. You want to become an ear to the people.
Correct.
But when you want to speak, you are not expressing yourself. You are hiding your emotions. I think so. That's what I meant to say. You are trying
That's
to
exactly
hide.
what I said earlier, that it's easier to advise others and tell others, solve everyone else's problems. But when it comes to our own self, we start overthinking, we hesitate, we second guess ourselves.
But as you said, the word fine right now, that means the fine word can be described in different, described in different
absolutely.
ways. The expression, way of expressing it, like, yeah, I'm fine. Oh, yeah, I'm fine. The way of saying it can be really different, and it tells the mood of a person, feeling of the person.
Absolutely. But still, fine is not enough.
If someone says I'm fine, so
but
other
what does that
people,
mean?
I'm fine. That means I'm fine. I'm
But
okay.
what, are you joyous? Are you just fine? Are you
Just fine. That means just fine and just fine.
so it's still ambiguous, right? It's still not clear.
So every expression, every feeling should be clear.
If you, but
You
at
meant to
least
say that.
at least to yourself.
When someone is like very clear to themselves, why show the world?
But they
Why
won't be. But so no problem. Not don't have to show to the world, right? But what we are talking is self-regulation,
Okay, thank you.
right? So when we are, if you're fine with yourself, and that's clear what you mean by fine, right? But you don't want to say it to someone else. There is also something like there is a fear there. What's your fear of saying how you're actually feeling instead of fine?
I think so. If I express myself, I have no fears. Like, as my, I don't have any fears in life because, as my personal experience, I have been through a lot.
Mhm.
So I say the word I would say, I damn care about the world right now.
Mhm. Mhm.
Whatever they do it.
Okay.
I'm okay as long as I'm happy for myself. I'm satisfied with myself. I damn care about the world. That's my right now the feeling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
and
my
that's fine. And that's fine.
the word again. Fine.
Yes. You need to be fine with yourself. But if we are talking and you say fine, it does not tell me what you say, then I take you for okay, you're okay. But I can ask you what you mean by fine.
I'll have a different session with you on this word.
No
Fine.
problem. Let's connect separately and have a chat.
Okay.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, so building an emotional vocabulary, move beyond the broad labels like stressed, fine, the anxious or depressed, and use the cluster words of joy, sadness, anger, fear, disgust. Then break it down to yourself. Where is this coming from? I'll have more to share. So more precise words lead to more precise understanding and response. So fine is not precise. Emotional literacy in action. Notice what I'm feeling. Where do I sense it? Yes, Paul. Somebody's in the chat.
No, I was just waving at Yvette. She said she was leaving, so
Bye, Yvette.
I just wanted to wave
Bye,
at her.
Ram. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, what am I feeling and where do I sense it? So it's important you feel it on your body. Put a clear, honest word on the emotion. Make sense. What triggered this and what does it point to? Choose given this information, what is the next wise step for you? So the story needs to be clear here. So this is an example. Anger. I'm angry. Okay, what do we do? Next step. What is this anger from? Sadness, anger with self, grief, aggression, frustration, disappointment, powerlessness. There are so many that's there. But the easiest would be you put anger and then you put 3 more words to describe your anger. Do you feel neglected? Do you feel irritated? You feel resentment towards someone? Do you feel betrayed? Where is this coming from? Okay. And then?
I think some people, when they are angry, they stay quiet. They become quiet and they just isolate themselves.
Yes, that
So
is
that's
called freeze or flight and freeze response.
but other people in a sense, but other people think that they are showing a cold shoulder. So that's the, I think so that that's a mixed up feeling for the anger. If someone is angry at someone and the person is quiet, that means other will feel that he or she is showing me a cold shoulder. So that means freezing something or frowning something like that.
Yeah. So you see, we judge people based on their behavior, on how they are being, right? But at the same time, we want people to understand how I'm feeling inside without actually explaining or using the right words to tell them how we feel. So we say fine, but then we behave differently, which is not fine. Then different people interpret that behavior differently. So step 3, you talk to your emotion, the one you found and you're satisfied with. I acknowledge that I feel. It's natural and okay to feel and other emotions that are behind my anger. I acknowledge that emotions are messengers telling me to make changes in my life. I vow to protect myself in the future, and I thank these messengers who are always welcome. I have heard them very well. They have done their job. They may leave. Bye-bye. So remember, anger is a drive to self-protect from a threat, so that these protective messengers can leave peacefully. I vow to take the following actions to ensure a safer future. But it doesn't have to be like this. I mean, I don't want to give you words, but I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. Sit with your emotion, see where it is coming from. Write down 3 new rules for yourself that you will commit to. Develop new way of managing yourself when you are in an emotional state. So safety is the key word of the unconscious. How will you make yourself safer in the future? The end. Woohoo! Questions?
Mohib,
Yes, Paul.
can I jump in before anybody else does?
Just jump.
So, I was just thinking, a couple of things. The fine started sounding like the number 7 to me. It's like when you say to somebody, scale something, but you're not allowed to use the number 7, because most people go to the number 7 when they rate something. So then they have to think harder about it. And I think fine sounds the same to me, because fine's almost like I'm fine. I don't really want to answer you, so I'm fine. So I think it's sort of putting ourselves in that position. And then I like what you said there about how you can talk to these emotions, because I was writing down, hello, anger, what brings you here today? So you can sort of talk to it. A nice exercise I know, which is a great way to deal with things at the end of the day. It's when you do your reflection on the day, so those things that you experience during the day don't stick with you into the night and into your sleep, and in sort of process there is, if you go, okay, this happened today and I experienced this, or I behaved in that way. So, okay, so next time this happens, how would I like to have responded to the situation? And then if you do that, the next time that comes up, you've just got 1% better or 5% better. So that when you reflect again, you go, okay, that worked. Maybe I was still a bit arsy about it or sarcastic. Okay, I'm often sarcastic. So how might I do this better next time? So I think it's like being able to reflect on it and not hold so tight onto it that you think you own the emotion. Because then the emotion owns you, because you almost justify that emotion and that feeling and repeating that feeling into being.
Thank you, Paul. Very well said. Anybody else? Questions, comments, share? Yes, Mr. Sanjay.
Yeah, first of all, I think it broadened the horizon a bit. Basically it gave a lot of clarity. Probably I've got.
You are not very clear. Can you
I
get?
said it broadened the horizon. There was a lot of things to learn from this presentation. Probably there were things which at least I can say about myself, I didn't know. From empathy, from conditioning, from behavior. I've got two questions. Probably that can help us a little bit more. How should we deal with a flight mode and try to cross that line? Like you said, I'll specifically quote, you said wonderful things. Your desire to change has to be much more than the status quo. Then only change will come. Probably you said it in different words, but that was the gist of what you said. So my first question is, how you move from a flight mode to a little bit in a fight mode? Probably is that possible that you just stay there, fight it out, not in a word. Fight means metaphor, fight, but reasonable, logical, and you don't, or rather you face the situation and you don't get into flight mode. That's my first question. Second question, which I personally have is, like you rightly said, there are some traumas which are generational, maybe for parents, maybe, our grandparents. Probably I was reading a book also, which I was still not able to grasp. They said, you can overcome the generational trauma or, probably which you might have had from your forefathers. So how to overcome that? So I have, honestly speaking, I've understood a lot of things, probably I'll try to practice also. There were a lot of answers. And third, I would be selfish to ask, is it possible for you to share the presentation? Maybe, sometimes we get so busy in our lives, we forget. So probably I also make presentation in my professional life and send it to people, so that in case they forget, they can always look back at it and, probably learn from it. I'm done. So there's two things. Two were questions and third was a request. So probably I have.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. You can connect with me and I'll share it with you, no problem. Somebody left. Bye, Tracy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your contribution. Tracy. Mr. Sanjay. So, one thing that I would really like to tell everyone is, we are so kind of obsessed in doing things on our own. And we want to find only ways to do things our own. A lot of things are subconscious and unconscious to us, which only can be opened up and done something when we make it conscious to ourselves. You cannot take a step or do something about anything to which you're subconscious and unconscious. And majority of our behavior, reactions, triggers are subconscious and unconscious to us.
I agree.
My best advice would always be to work with somebody so that person can help you, a coach, somebody you work with that can help you start questioning you in a way that gives you different perspective of seeing things. Because you can read hundreds of books, I can tell you things what to do, but then you will only be able to do so much, because a lot of your things are like you said, how to get out of flight mode and to become, into all that. But if all that is subconscious to you, it happens. You don't even realize it. You're in a crowd and you feel something and you're gone. And then you only regret it once you reach home, like, oh, yo, why did I leave? Why didn't I stay? Or if something become confrontational, you avoid it. Bye-bye. Because how it makes you feel. Yes, Paul. Oh, you're waving again. Okay.
You said bye to somebody and I just waved. That's what I do.
No. Okay. So, Mrs. Sanjay, my advice would really be, if you have somebody who needs help, take some professional help. So that person can help you make what is unconscious and subconscious to you, make conscious to you, and then only you can do something about it. Otherwise, you can't do anything which you're subconscious and unconscious to. Because it happens. It happens. I'll be in fight with somebody and I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? But it's too late. Yes. AH.
Hello, thank you so much. It was a really good presentation and very rich. Lots of things to think about and very relevant, I think, to my life. And having done sessions with you, I would say definitely to other people that not just one session or one lecture, but something more persistent and consistent in one's life is a reminder of all the rich material you presented. And it's much more effective because I think the whole point of humans is to, we constantly forget, even if we are introduced to very interesting or relevant contexts or complex ideas, we forget. So having regular sessions is something that is extremely useful and has been very useful to me. So I just wanted to say that in the group so that if there are others, then I think they'll really benefit from regular sessions.
Thank you, Dr. Amine. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And thank you for the comments. I'm glad to hear that our sessions has helped you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Sanjay, if you want to talk separately, you can always reach out and we can, discuss more further on what can be done and how we can, work with it. Okay. Anybody else? Any questions? Any comments? We have gone past 8 minutes beyond the set time I had in mind, 1.5 hours. But I think we have covered quite a lot, and thank you for everybody's participation. I found it to be extremely enlightening for myself as well. If you have any questions, any comments, please feel free to right now. You can ask me, or you can always reach out to me personally. You can find me on Instagram on Mohib the Happiness Coach. And or most of you are in our group, so you can also connect with me directly and we can talk, we can look into it and how I can be of any help to anyone.
Thank you. We really enjoyed this. It was quite enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanjay. Thank you. Okay, if there are no more questions or comments, thank you so much. Thank you, Soham. Thank you for your input. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mohib.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. I'll see
Thank
you
you,
around.
everybody.
Have a lovely
Thank
night,
you,
everybody,
Bye.
wherever you are. Miss Qureshi, you can also reach out. We can have a chat separately. Thank you so much.
Sure. Thank you so much. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
Ah.